my shadow grows long. What's up, guys? You see me waving? That's cheesy. Hey guys, Matt the Greeter. I want to show you that sun at my back with my shadow stretching out in front of me, and just talk about that real quick, and then I'm going to talk about a book, and you can hit the like button and then log off when I start to talk about a book. Anyway, when you're on a motorcycle and you see a long shadow stretching out in front of you, that means the sun is probably at your back, which means that anybody coming at you, I don't know about your bike, but I got a single headlight up there, and it's a lousy halogen. It came stock. It's the same bulb. This 2009 Harley Davidson Dyna Lowrider, and that will blend into the sun. So when you see your shadow stretching out in front of you, do not assume, even though you have a headlight, that cars can actually see you. Oh, just another. There's a free tip from Matt the Greeter. I don't know. Even if you got an LED, I'm not sure. Look, here's the deal. Around here, I've said this in a previous video. Like, does anybody drive a car and actually keep a pair of sunglasses in the car? I mean, I do. I wear sunglasses all the time in the car. But it's incredible how many people you see coming at you, and they got that squint. They're like saluting. They got their hand over their eyebrows, trying to see, and they're driving a 1,000, 2,000 pound, 3,000 pound SUV at a high rate of speed among other human beings who are jogging, walking dogs, pushing baby carriages, using, walkers and wheelchairs, and they're covering their eyes because of the sun, and they're just, come on, just throw up an extra pair of sunglasses in the car. What's up, dude? Just a friendly tip. Anyway, let me talk about a book that I absolutely love, and here's a book I credit with changing my life. One day, my dad was an English teacher. Once an English teacher, always an English teacher. So he taught for 31 years. He's been retired for some time, but he's still an English teacher. And that's beautiful. He did exactly what he was supposed to do for a career, and he did it real well. You can't go, at least when I was younger, you couldn't go anywhere with him where you didn't bump into a student or a former student or the child of a former student of his. It was really, it was heartwarming. It was really, really, really cool, Anyway, so he came home one day, and he had a good method for, like, getting me to read. Now, I was an absolute space cadet, right? What do you mean was? All right. I was a space cadet back in the day. Well, he just showed up one day and tossed a book, like literally physically tossed it to me and said, "Hey, check this out. You might like it, you might not." And it landed in my hand. I caught it. It was a copy of The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. And I was pretty young at the time. I was pretty young. And The Hobbit was it was on the razor's edge of my ability to read. I mean, it was any more difficult, and I'm not sure I would have been able to read it. But here it was, The Hobbit. So being a space shot and an outdoor guy, I just took it outside in the backyard. And we had some trees back there. There was like a little swampy area, so no houses. It was just, cracking open The Hobbit on a night like tonight, warm, with the sun, when the sun turns the leaves all gold, and reading about Bilbo Baggins, just hanging out in the Shire, and all of a sudden the dwarves come and they make a mess of his place, and blah blah, and all of a sudden, man, I was hooked, and I was on that journey, and I was looking out into the trees in my backyard saying, maybe just beyond those trees, maybe, there's something just like what I'm reading about. It was magical. It was incredible. And I ripped through that book. you know. And then he brought home the trilogy, you know, and it was in a single volume, and it was like red, like fake leather, and it had like stars and moons and stuff on the cover. But it looked, in my young brain, it was like an actual tome, you know what I mean? And so I ripped through that too. And man, I'll tell you, I've been a reader ever since. I mean, that book, The Hobbit, I go back to that, man, when I need a lift, when I need something, you know, when the season is just right, you know, or I don't know, it's something happens in the heart of an adventurer where you know, there's just a subtle, maybe just a dip in the barometric pressure, and it's time to go, man. It's time to go, you know. And I've always had that sort of restless nature, and like, I don't mind being on the highway and watching that white line just dip for hours, you know, and just making miles, putting the miles behind me and watching the scenery change, you know. So, you know, Tolkien, man, whatever you were doing, man, you did it right. And you captured this imagination, you know. In that book, okay, start reading now if you're not a reader, because I'll tell you what happens, man. I read that book when I was, I don't know, 10, something like that. When I cracked that book open again, I'm 46 now. That book is so fresh. That book is so fresh and so alive and so now that I'm 10 again when I read it. You know, I forget that my body hurts. I forget that, you know, like I don't have all the hair growing on my head that I used to have growing on my head. You know, I got hair coming off my ears now, you know. I don't know. Anyway, long story short, short story long. The Hobbit is one of those books. It is the book that turned me into a reader, you know, and it just unlocked that curiosity, that willingness to just fantasize about other places. It spoke to the kid that I always was inside, that daydreamer, absolute daydreamer. And when I was reading that book, I believed in that book. I was there. I was walking through the Mirkwood. You know what I'm saying, man? I was there. You got me, Tolkien. You know what I'm saying? You got me. You did it. You wrote a good book, dude. If you wrote nothing else in your life except for The Hobbit, then you wrote a book which will, you know, for eternity be an important book to me. Anyway, guys, that's just me geeking out a little bit over literature. Now I'm gonna go put some ancient history in my gas tank. Some expensive ancient history. only the best for the bug smasher, right? Yeah, 93 octane or bust. All right, guys, that's it for now. I'm Matt the Greeter. I'll talk to you soon, all right? All right, bye.